So not a lot of people were interested in my Amanda Knox video, but I'm very happy that I posted it. And as I have already indicated in my last video, the one thing that stands out is that she made an accusation towards me before she should have told me that she doesn't know what happened that night, which of course she didn't. And she said, my guilt and she takes ownership of guilt. She is guilty of something. What specifically? Well, you can look at Peter Hyatt's Twitter profile, and one of the last things that he did was post, actually, he shared an article that he had written for justice.org or something like that, where he analyzed the written statement that she gave. And I have posted part of the statement, the beginning of a statement. I will probably post the rest if there's enough interest among you guys. But needless to say, we want answers about Jack and Lily. That's the priority right now. However, we cannot let people get away with things simply because the justice system wasn't able to hold them accountable properly, right? There was not enough evidence or what have you. That doesn't mean that we say, yeah, okay, let's rest, let's forget about it. No, because there's a difference between the legal proceedings and the actual truth, right? So we are about finding the truth through the statements of the people who give these statements. And here we have Daniel Martell talking during the life of It's a Crime and Shame, giving us information that is not necessary. I already answered this. I found my stapler today to put up posters. So what is he saying with that? That's an unnecessary piece of information. We couldn't care less what you have in your house, what you find. But what he's saying, he's giving us an excuse why he hasn't put up posters yet. I didn't have my stapler, but today I found it. I'm wearing the bracelets right now. Really? Wow, bracelets. What else are you gonna have? A Jack and Lily t-shirt, and we want you to tell us what you know. All of this is only done for him to present himself as a caring person and give the impression that Jack and Lily, that he had nothing to do with their disappearance. Nice try, dude. Let's go on. Jane said her and Daniel were the only ones to watch Lily and Jack. So that's the mother of Daniel. And this is Belinda Gray, the grandmother, speaking. Malaya never took them out. She heard them and Malaya them, but never thought that was unusual. Well, this is based on something Janie said, and Janie is a liar, a habitual liar in this particular case. Sorry for the label, but I see Meadow 3 times weekly. That's what Daniel feels a need to tell us. Why? Because he's a good guy. That's why he's allowed to see his daughter. And he wants to see. No, I believe he cares about his daughter. I believe he cared about Jack and Lily not one bit. Remember when he talked to us about who was seen at the mall on May 1st, that Thursday. He mentioned himself, Malaya, and Meadow. Oh, and by the way, Jack and Lily were there too. That should have been the priority. These kids were baggage to him. I mean, he was lucky to have somebody like Malaya, right? So he took on the so-called baggage willfully, but when she was pregnant with Meadow, he changed. And he did not feel anything for the kids, Jack and Lily. They were a burden. He had a problem with the pull-ups, that Jack was still in pull-ups, but of course, he claims he potty trained him. But why would you even say that? Because you didn't. You maybe you spanked him a couple of times because he took off his pull-up. That's a sensitive area to him. He keeps talking about that pull-up. He wouldn't keep his pull-up on for that long. Imagine if we were to believe the story, which we of course don't, That would mean at 9:40, Malaya was still asleep and she hadn't seen the kids since the evening before. If we were to believe his story, which we don't, he only would have seen Lily as she walked into the room, but not interacted with her. Meaning, at 9:40 a.m., it would not be unusual for the kids to be on their own, unsupervised, since the evening before that. What did they have on? Are you trying to tell us they got themselves dressed to go outside and play? No. They had on what they usually had on when they went to bed. That's why you didn't tell us, you couldn't tell us what the kids were wearing. It was the Barbie top, but then you tell us, oh, by the way, it's in the house. And that's your signal to Malaya to say, yeah, we're both telling the same BS story. So don't try to elevate yourself above me. You're in it with me. And he points out she's fighting for Meadow. He's reminding her, you say anything, and you will not see your daughter anymore. You will never get her back. Malaya never tells her story. That's the strangest thing. And when somebody qualifies it as a story, that means that he knows that Malaya is not telling the truth. She is telling a fabrication. And he's angry because she should help him sell the BS story that they have scripted that night. And he's calling it the strangest thing because he wants to put pressure on her. You're acting strangely. Go and talk. Support our story. Remember, she also gave him a hint with the messages saying, when Belinda asked, do you think Daniel could have hurt the children? I don't know. But, isn't that what she said? But, when you say but, that means take away everything that comes before that. And no, it's not true. He's acting strangely. She introduced that. He is replying to Malaya via a public platform. You're the one acting strange because you don't tell us what's you don't support my story. You don't stick with it. She was hinting at him. Shut the hell up. Stop talking so much. You're making it worse. Be quiet and let it go away. That is her strategy. But of course, now she sends her friends or her friend and her half sister, or, of course, she retracted the claim that Daniel did drugs in the bathroom. And the reason is, of course, that if she also said that Malaya told her for 2 years. What a surprise, 2 years, right? It started when she became pregnant with Meadow. The real Daniel showed his true colors because he felt safe now. He no longer had to put up this act of the Daniel that she first met. He no longer had to present himself in such a manner. He could just be his old, ugly self because he felt like she is stuck with me now. She's pregnant with my child in my trailer with my mom, with my brother. My. She had no more voice. The only thing she could do or the only thing that she did feel inspired to do was resign into her phone, into her online world, her dream world, whatever she did on the phone. I doubt it was anything significant, just to get away, mentally speaking, maybe from the situation. So this is him communicating to her. You should support me. We should be in this together. And he's blaming her mother for the break. Not that Malaya was so sick of him and she finally felt she has enough support to get out of there. I have to hold back on some evidence because it's held between me and major crime investigators, oh boy, you can't talk about it. Just like Chris Proudfoot. There are things you can't talk about, dude. And he's talking about evidence. We are looking for leads that lead to Jack and Lily. Evidence will come later in a criminal investigation, in court. But that's what he's worried about right now, that there's evidence he may have left behind. That's also why he is so into this pink blanket and felt the need to, in my opinion, plant the other piece into the garbage can. Or at least make this something that he called police for in order to lead away from the significance of the pink blanket up in the trees, which could have blown up there when he drove to get rid of Jack and Lily, that it blew up into the trees. That's a possibility. That's a strong possibility. And that's exactly what he doesn't want you to pay attention to. Major crime investigators. He makes himself look bigger than he is, right? He puts himself in the same position. Oh, he's working together with the major ones. So you are nobody to actually dare question anything that he's done at all. He's elevating himself, trying to pretend that he is on a high road, while he is the actual suspect, in my opinion. And in my opinion, the only suspect here. He's trying to escape into this dream world of being untouchable. He wants to seem like you don't have a right to look at him in any other way than you would look at the crime investigators. Not just the crime investigators, but the major ones. Yes, there's a reason for everything that he's saying. If they believed them to be alive, why did Daniel ask for cadaver dogs? Good question, Belinda. I'm not protecting Malaya. Do you need to protect her? What did she do? We know that you're protecting yourself. What would you need to protect her from? And this is just another very subtle way of him suggesting some sort of guilt on her part that she should answer for, or at least get in touch with him over, as in, don't only look at me, without making a direct accusation. He's treading carefully, but he is telling you that there's something that Malaya needs to be protected from. And that is yet another hint. He is finding ways to communicate to her, and he's doing it in the style that used to probably work, to keep her there, to control her, to make sure she doesn't get out of line from his point of view, because nobody wants to live over there. And he wanted to get her stuck, and Meadow was the way to get her stuck. And that's when allegedly he went back into drugs. 2 years, right? That's what Haley said, that Malaya told her that Daniel had been on drugs for 2 years. Around the time that she got pregnant, he felt safe to be who he really is now. And of course, she retracted, because that would mean that Malaya covered up for him. When CPS came, when certain questions were asked, that would make her complicit in whatever had taken place. that shouldn't have, with 2 children in the house. That's why she retracted. But the message is already out there, and we already, I don't need to know how she tried to retract it because I already looked at the statement that she made. I listened to it. And yes, in my opinion, it's reliable. I don't need more. Yeah, Malaya doesn't want people to know. Of course, she wants Meadow back. Thanks for focusing on Jack and Lily and not drama. Yeah, so there's a reason that they pick It's a Crime and Shame, and they're yapping a lot and they are flip flopping, which is not cool in my opinion, but I guess it's a strategy that works to get these people all on there, which means Daniel, Belinda, uh, yeah. What is drama, Daniel? When somebody talks about drama, first of all, there is, I don't trust people who talk about, oh, there's too much drama. How do you know that whatever is talked about is drama? Because you pay attention to it. So people who complain about drama tend to be the people who are unable to stay away from it. Do I complain about it? Do I use the term drama? I don't. I just know what to ignore because it's not beneficial to me. And there are different reasons why people pay attention to so-called drama. And many people, they don't have they don't have a life. They just need to they get entertained, cheap entertainment. It's not about Sebastian or Jack and Lily anymore. They just love to see people arguing. And the other one would be somebody who's worried and he feels the need to dismiss something that contains information that's reliable and dangerous to him as drama, opinions, crazy accusations, speculations. He cannot reliably deny certain accusations. So what does he do? The same thing Chris Proudfoot did, dismiss it. Try to make people who pay attention to it feel like they are just into drama. Shame on you for paying attention to the obvious being that I am lying. I have information I'm hiding from you. You see? That is why he's being dismissive, talking about drama. Daniel. Let's get to the rest. I asked for cadaver dogs back in June. Okay, that would be a month after they disappeared, right? Didn't he ask before that? I don't know. I forgot what he said, but please correct me in my comment section. Because there's another comment he's going to make now. I think they are... I think they are alive, but the location is in question. Wow. Let's zoom in on this one. But on its own, I think they are alive. That would be a reliable thing to say. Full stop, dot, finished sentence. I think they are alive. But that's not what he's doing. When you finish a sentence, then you can say, I wonder where they are. But you wouldn't need to say that. Because if you knew where the location is, where they are, you would already have them back, right? So why is he saying, but the location is in question? First of all, he feels the need to say the but because he knows He's clearing his mind of the BS he just said to regain a little bit of inner balance while he's been lying nonstop. Lie, 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 right? The location is in question. You're not going to find him. That's what makes him feel confident. You're not going to find Jack and Lily. And that's the question, not whether they're alive or not. That's not what he wants you to pay attention to, because if they're not alive, well, who killed them? But he is confident to make the question what the location is, because he feels confident that you're not going to find out where they are. So he wants your mind to go there. The same way Chris Proudfoot, or anything out of the 10-mile radius, look there. Call anything into police. Waste their time. Keep them from looking in the right direction. Keep people from looking in the right direction. False tips are better than no tips, right? That's what Chris Proudfoot said. And that's exactly where his mind goes. He wants the false tips because he knows these tips are false. Anything other than looking at him and his family is a false tip. The distraction part, sending Darewood in, anything, Logan, all of this. But the location is in question. Yup, Danny boy. Cadaver dogs are the last step. So again, did he or didn't he, first and ever, ask for cadaver dogs in June? He's telling us now the last step. Why would you so early? And that's probably because he's replying to Belinda, asking, why would Daniel want cadaver dogs if he thinks the kids are alive? What does he know? So he says it very, very generally, like he's a major crime investigator. Cadaver dogs are the last step. That's why June is what he wanted to point out. It's a month after that he allegedly first talked about cadaver dogs. Really? You didn't bring it up in May? Your mind didn't go there before that? I know you guys remember. Some of you remember. Stop pinning everything on me. Malaya has done nothing. Stop pinning everything on me. Everything is highly sensitive here, people, because he doesn't feel like he is alone responsible for the disappearance. He has told us previously, when asked, did you have anything to do with the disappearance? I 100% did not. The fact that he brought up percentage is him telling us, yes, he did. This is not a reliable denial. But he's not the only one responsible in his own mind. Malaya has done nothing. Well, you haven't done nothing either, right? Because you couldn't find your stapler. The same way, he feels a need to excuse why he wasn't in the woods for a certain time because he was told not to go there. Daniel is a man of excuses, and I believe excuses are a huge part of his pattern that he developed early on. He is an excuse maker. He's somebody who has an explanation for everything to try to normalize the chaos he creates in life. This is a very general thing. This is part of his behavior. It's part of who he is. Of course, he's trying to refer to the fact that she is not helping him keep the story straight and working with him and being back with him. Again, I don't know if he has a new girlfriend. I mean, not stuck in the house. I mean, he's visiting Logan, maybe meeting other women, or who knows what it is. Who knows what he does? It's not important to me. But he's hung up on Malaya, and I believe he still wants her back. That's why he's sending her messages through this. He wants things to get back to her. Malaya has done nothing. He's trying to get her to speak, especially to him. At least he's trying to open that door of communication again. But she said, Belinda asked, do you think he could have hurt the children? I don't know, but. So get rid of the I don't know. She knows. He's acting suspicious, or he's acting strange. Her way of saying, stop being on camera. You bring more and more attention to this. Let it go by. So he's coming back to calling her strange and saying she has done nothing. Well, then come and help me. That's his message to Malaya. If I'm acting strange, then it's because of you. You have done nothing. That's why he's telling everybody how much he has done. And not one iota of concern for Jack and Lily. Not calling out to anybody who may have the children, because he knows they're gone. I'm not putting pressure on the RCMP. They are working hard. You're not supposed to praise law enforcement if the children are still missing. Similar to Chris Proudfoot. I am very happy with what they have done. What have they done? Not find Sebastian. Not find Jack and Lily yet. They're working hard. They're supposed to work. That's their job. They're getting paid to do that. You're supposed to figure out or help figure out where they could look, how to find Jack and Lily. But he's ingratiating. He wants to be friends with them. Why wouldn't you put pressure on them? If your children are missing, you will put pressure on them. You will be annoying. You will get on them. What have you been doing? Have you looked there? Have you looked? That's expected. Belinda said, I made a big mistake to reach out to this chief woman. I don't believe it was a mistake. Even though the story is not credible, if you're the grandmother of two missing children, the 1 in a billion possibilities that there could be something there will not let you rest. So you will reach out. Basically, like, I know this makes no sense. I know this is probably stupid, but I have to do this. Are the children on the reservation? Could you look? Could you send your own task force into different house? Anything like that. Putting pressure, because you are carrying the pressure inside of you. You are a living pressure cooker, not knowing where the kids are, not knowing what they're going through, not knowing how they're suffering. None of that. This relaxed attitude is not expected, and it's not natural. You would want to know where these wonderful children are that were under your care for 2 or 3 years. If you didn't know what happened. But yes, he wants to be friends with RCMP. I have to hold back on some evidence because it's held between me and major crime investigators. Again, yeah, I already posted this. Major crime investigators. He's trying to associate himself with them. Investigators don't want me talking, but I break those rules. He is a lone fighter. Thank you for watching. I'm Mike the Man. And please let me know if anything is new.